Alrighty. Well, we've got a lineup tonight. We're doing our Parasite cleanse. It's the OG over here. We got Dena, we got Tiffany, we got Maria, we got Elora. Alicia is not OG, but we love her, so we're real glad she's here too.
I know those are old familiar faces, or young familiar faces, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a gal with my retreat and she said, I know she meant that I resembled her mother, but it was a moment of like, she goes, "You look like my mother." I'm like, "Oh, thank you."
And your mother's 23?
Well, everybody knows my mom's hot, so I'm not bothered. So collectively, we have a lot of smart people here. Um, so Tiffany and I, we trained as colon hydrotherapists together. I did it for 3 years. It was just this magical time where I got to be surrounded by like really smart people and really loving and caring. And it's just really healing for me. I had a ton of gut problems and elevated liver enzymes, and I had been detoxing off of birth control, which you know how that goes. I got pregnant. Um, and let's see, I was on all kinds of psychotic drugs from when I was in rehabs and all the meds that they had put me on that I didn't need, wasn't diagnosed for. And they had me on thyroid medication. And pretty much it's the story that you hear from most people. I start out with this drug, and because the symptoms I was having, they put me on this drug, and the side effects of that drug, they put me on this drug. And that all happened at the age of, 17 and 18 years old. So finding this beautiful colon hydrotherapy clinic and having the truth be told to me, they're like, "Are you on probiotics?" And I mean, this is the early 2000s. This is when it was like, "What's a probiotic? I don't know. Yogurt?" Like before we had what's the gal from Freaky Friday? Remember she was super hot and then she was the yogurt like poop lady?
Was it Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yes, yes. Remember, like, so before Jamie Lee Curtis came on TV and told people about probiotics.
That was before we even knew yogurt had probiotics.
Yeah, right.
We
Like,
just
what do you,
thought yogurt has something live in it.
We didn't
yeah,
even know that. We were just like, just eat yogurt, but then we didn't know why. Yeah.
yeah. It was the low fat days, no, diet sugar and all that shit. So I was all screwed up and I just was brought into this beautiful environment. And Tiffany and I got to meet. She taught me all about how to eat. At the time, she had been teaching raw food classes and running a co op out of this wellness center. And it was the first time, I had just been through 3 different rehabs and dietitians and them trying to teach me how to eat. And Tiffany came in and was like, "You need vegetables and you could eat a lot of them if you want, and nuts and all these salads and delicious smoothies recipes." And it was like this, like, I finally it clicked that I could eat well and be satisfied and not be like, you have to eat like freaking Jenny Craig the rest of your life. So thank you so much, Tiff, for being a part of my healing timeline for my eating disorder. And like this is when I got to learn about parasites. So then Dena Woulfe came into the picture a couple years later, and she's a holistic RN and just like this woman that is just voracious like, for her knowledge and goes to every freaking conference. So she knows like the most up to date business, like of all the health stuff. So I mean, between the three of us and Maria, she's got a huge story too, and how she's healed people. She ran a women's publication for health. There's tons of information here. Alicia is a health coach. Um, anywho, so that was just my point of that you're gonna share. We're gonna share a lot of great information. I'm gonna tell you what recently happened to me, or actually, I'll back up. When I was working at the colon therapy clinic, that was the first time that I saw a parasite's face. So I'm watching the tube because the machine's hooked up to the person. They're lying on the table, tubes connect to their butt, the machine's on the wall, it's all lit up, and you're watching everything go out. And I shit you not, I saw its face. It had eyes and a mouth, right, Tiff?
Yep.
Have you seen it?
No, I didn't see that one.
Oh, I mean,
I've seen Parasites, but not the actual face.
I don't know why I saw it. And then my sister came home from Italy and she had been eating prosciutto and all this weird stuff over there, and the nest detached itself from her intestinal wall, and it was all bloody on one side and it was a big spaghetti nest on the other. Like it
Mm.
was this wake up call that, like, if you eat pork and fish
Mhm.
and travel to other countries, like you're probably gonna come back with something, or you have
Mhm.
animals in your house. I mean, it comes down to, if you're eating an alkaline lifestyle, if your immune system is up, you're just gonna have a little bit of parasites. Like you can't get away from it. Like everybody's got them, just a little
Mhm.
bit. But it's when your immune system goes down and when you're not eating enough herbs and vegetables and onions and garlic and all the things that manage it, then they're gonna go out of control, right? So I'm gonna pass it to Tiff, and if you could share a little bit about what you've seen.
Okay, I'm Tiffany Jablonski. Most of you already know me, but um, I've been doing colon hydrotherapy for over 20 years, and I have experienced several different people. Dena, that's exactly how I met Dena, and Dena like came into our little fold, and we're just so grateful that she's part of our team. And but seeing people and seeing what they're doing, and then asking them, what are you eating, how are you eating? So one case, I had a gentleman that had diabetes. His family went out and ate sushi 5 times a week.
Mhm.
I worked on him for 6 months, and every time there was anything that passed through the tube, every hard nugget was furry. It looked like hair. It looked like a hairball. And so it was these furry nuggets going through. And then finally he passed 6 months working on a closed system. A closed system is the tube is the water goes in into your body, and the water and the fecal matter come through that same tube. So there's no fecal matter exposed to the air. And so like anything bigger than that tube won't pass. So you have to get up and you go to the bathroom. This man passed a beer can size matter. Him and his wife were in the bathroom, and it was in the office that Kim and I worked in together. And him and his wife, because he had diabetes, he had one eye. What the other eye was missing. He had like half of his fingers. He only had like these fingers, and only the big toe on the same, all on the liver side of the body, all on the right side of the body. That was, this eye was missing, these fingers were missing, and those toes were missing. And so the wife goes in and's helping him. She's always helped him, but they were banging around in my bathroom a lot, and I thought, oh, what are they doing in my bathroom? And so it finally, they were like, Tiff, come here. And I'm like, I don't want to go in there. I don't know what the heck you were doing in there. And literally, that matter was this big around and this long. I don't know if you can see that. That it was like, it was a beer can. And so there was no way on earth I was gonna, yeah, I was soaking it to let it flush because he couldn't get it to flush. And so I had Carrie, which was our receptionist at the time, make him a poop uh certificate. He got a poop award because he had the biggest poop I'd ever seen. He literally hung it on his bathroom to remind him to not let himself get that way. But he felt so much better getting all of that out, but 5 times a week eating sushi. Isn't that insane?
It's just
It
awful.
it was disgusting. So and then I had another guy, I was working down in Riverside, and I had another guy, this gorgeous businessman, just really getting things, moving and shaking, but he was working in Korea a lot, and he was eating all that Korean food, like you said, traveling. Um, that was another where place where he had gotten parasites, and he was really sick, and he was supposed to go to Korea again, and I said, you need to get better before you start going back and eating all of this food, because it's not like you can deny it in another country, being the host offering you all this food that is making you super sick. Um, I see a lot of people, and that when people are asking me about parasites, I always tell them, do you wear your shoes in the house? Does your animal sleep in your bed? Do you have a cat? Do you clean the cat box? Do you eat sushi? How often do you eat sushi? And a lot of times when we eat certain things like sushi, are you doing the wasabi and the ginger? Those are going to help burn off that. And you've got to think, every culture that we have out there has a parasite cleanse, has a way of cleansing from parasites. All of the islands tend to grow papaya. Papaya seeds are very anti-parasitic. um when you eat sushi, the wasabi and the ginger are anti-parasitic. That it helps burn that off, helps you to digest that. So those are things that you have to think about. What culture are you in if you're traveling, and are you eating all of the bits and pieces to go with that meal, like the wasabi and the ginger, like the papaya seeds and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Thanks, Tiff. Yeah, that was what I wanted to segue into next, was all of the foods,
Uh-huh.
the important. But first I actually wanted to touch on ivermectin. Um, and I'm gonna ask Dina about that. So Tiff like graciously gave me some of her supply because I was kind of in a dire situation when I came home from the Cayman Islands. I'm like, my stomach hurts, like this is a problem. Like I'm gonna start this cleanse, but do you have any ivermectin? But I know that you know quite a bit about this, don't you, Dina?
I actually don't know anything
No?
about ivermectin. Nope. Mm-mm.
Okay. Then we
No,
won't.
I use my oils. And
Okay.
so my experience with parasites was probably 10 years ago. Um, Somebody I knew, they could see the worm just kind of swimming at the surface of their skin. And like it'd be and then they'd feel it like behind their eye, and then they were like, "Oh, there it is in my hand again." And so then we were like, okay, let's get rid of it and let's use oils. So we had prayed and prayed about getting a concoction for oils, used that, and within 6 weeks, nothing. They were good. And they haven't had that little worm swimming on their skin ever again. But I kind of wanted to touch on like, how do you know, like, what are some of the symptoms that people get? And people often want to know like how to even recognize if they may even have a parasite. And you mentioned having coming back from the Caymans and feeling the bloating, the digestive upset. It usually comes with fatigue, sometimes unexplained weight loss, skin irritations, and just general feeling really tired is
That,
usually what people experience.
A lot of bloatedness also.
The bloating, diarrhea, constipation. Yeah, like I
Mm-hmm.
was saying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And teeth grinding.
Yeah. Yeah. And many people like they get curious like how do you get them? And so like Tiffany, you touched on that a little bit. Eating undercooked meat, the sushi, like pork is a huge one. There's tons of parasites in pork, and when it's undercooked, bad news, worse than the sushi.
Mm-hmm.
And the pork parasite is very hard to kill. And so you can also get it from the animals. You can also skin to skin contact. So if you are nesting, sleeping with, or cuddling up with somebody else who is infected, you have the potential to share via skin to skin contact. And I think like a lot of people don't realize that.
But well, I've talked to like dog kennel people and they're like they'll watch the worms go along the floor, go into the next kennel.
Yeah.
Well, that
Yep.
was how my sister got them, but we
Mm.
won't talk about that more.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I'll tell you what I've been doing.
Mhm.
So, I mentioned the ivermectin thing, and I'm like, kind of like love it. So I've been doing the 10 days of it. The more I research of it, the more I'm impressed. I'm
Mhm.
excited that they've done tests on 28 different types of cancer using different, milligrams of ivermectin and then killing those cells of each one. And this goes along with, they've got a lot of theories out there, and I don't know what the testing looks like, but they're talking about cancer actually being more of a parasite
Mhm.
than a mutated cell. So that's interesting to me. That's all I know though. So,
Yeah. I've
um,
heard really good insights on tobacco for cancer as well. And that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, we'll stick to the parasites in this one and then maybe
yeah.
do another class on more research on that because there's a lot that's coming out that's very cutting edge. Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about ivermectin. Will you tell me the milligrams and,
I don't know proper milligrams. I think the one Tiffany gave me is 6 milligrams.
I'm not sure.
Mhm.
I haven't looked at the package in a while.
and the brand and stuff? Okay.
Tiffany,
Well,
are you the one that gave
it
me
was,
the?
yeah, it was a friend that was ordering it from one of those countries that they give it to their whole, everybody gets it in the whole country.
Oh,
So
wow.
one of those countries where malaria is really prevalent. And so they probably get it for a quarter a piece. And I think I paid $100 for it. So
I have a link to get 100 tablets, and it comes from India.
Yeah, I do know that it kills the nerves and the muscles of the worm. That's why it works so well.
Interesting.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that's taken it like well other than during, the pandemic.
Other than Kim.
Other than Kim, yeah. Which I just learned that right now.
Okay.
Well, if you have something acute, it felt really necessary and powerful. Like I just came home from another country and I was having real symptoms where I'm like super nauseous, where I was like, oh God, I'm pregnant again, but I'm not. So, and then I'll share with you what I decided on for the cleanse that I'm sharing when using doTERRA products and a couple extra things. So another thing that Tiffany gave me was the diatomaceous earth. So you want the food grade kind, not the kind that you use in the pool. So,
Mhm.
can you share what diatomaceous earth does, Tiffany?
diatoms are really small, uh, almost diamond shaped, little diamond shaped, baleen whales eat them. I don't know, they're kind of a small animal type thing. And so when they die off, they're like razor blades as it goes through and it like fruit ninjas, the parasites. So, and it will actually suffocate ants and bugs because they breathe through their skin. So it's so small, it an ant's skin is that's how they breathe, that powder is so fine that it will suffocate the ant. So that's how fine it is as it goes through your body. So it's not like it's cutting up your villi or cutting up anything through your digestive tract, but it does help to break up that parasite so then it can and it's very you want to drink plenty of water with that because it can be dehydrating.
Can you spell it?
DIA I am not sure.
TOM
Oh, see.
AECEOUS.
Oh, I spelled it wrong.
Like diatom. Diatom. ACEOUS.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So
That's-
how long should I be drinking this for? Because I've done let's see, 8 days.
I would give yourself a break and then do it again later. Because parasites have an egg stage, and the egg stage is so long, depending on the parasite. And so you usually have to do, like Dena was saying, how many months you said 4 months of that you were using the oils?
So I usually do 3 days before the full moon.
Mm-hmm.
I start,
Yeah,
and
the
then
full moon's a big thing.
full moon's a big thing, and then at least 6 weeks, because
Yeah,
the life cycle is six weeks.
so you really want it, and you want to rotate that. You do it and then you stop for a little bit and you do it again. And so a lot of times I'll work with clients for a couple months to getting them really cleaned out and moving in the right direction. And the die-off, we tend to get like a herc symptoms, because, and if you're not having good bowel movements, your body's reabsorbing that die-off of that. And your body, it's just this vicious cycle. Your body's just trying to get rid of it. And if we're not having good bowel movements and we're not hydrated enough and passing that through our elimination systems, then it's you end up almost sicker than even before.
Mhm.
So it's a full cleanse that you have to fully get moving in the right direction.
And I feel like that's with anything. You want your chimneys to be excreting correctly before you start filling them up, right?
Correct. Correct.
I'm glad you brought that up because I brought all of my supplements into this room so that I could remember like what to say. So with the diatomaceous earth, I've been drinking the electrolytes, doTERRA's electrolytes, the MetaPower. I like the strawberry one. There's a lemon lime one too. It's got 4 different types of magnesium. It has this one tree. What's it start with a B? The like baboa. Do you remember the name of it? It's this big, like you see those pictures in the Sahara Desert or in Africa, like this, not the Sahara,
It's
the,
baobab.
say it again.
Baobab.
Baobab. It's like this
Baobab trees.
big monster tree trunk, and it holds all this water in it. And they use that extract to like support your body in keeping that hydration. Because I know for me, when I had been not drinking, like I had been drinking enough water, but because I didn't have enough minerals to support that hydration, I was just peeing it out, and then I'd get headaches in the afternoon. So I mixed the diatomaceous earth with the electrolytes, and I went and got a colonic with Tiffany. And even though I think I'm drinking enough, no. So I'm like, I really got to up this more. And that night I went home and I'm researching, the parasite cleanse with the medical medium. That was that guy's name, Anthony William or William.
Mhm.
Anthony William or William yeah, Anthony William.
Anthony Williams, I think.
Mhm.
So what Tiffany was saying, like if you're not having enough bowel movements and moving the toxins out, then you're just reabsorbing it and your body is having to like shuffle and figure out what to do with that. It's just making it harder for your systems to work, which speeds up the aging process and inflammation. So he's saying you need to eat like a shit ton of fruit, like just a lot. And that's why I was like, we got to do a fruit cleanse, which sounds delicious. Super excited. Instead of saying, I'm doing a parasite cleanse, I'm like, well, I'm gonna eat tons of fruit. I'm super excited about it.
I've got a fruit cleanse.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds a lot better and it doesn't make me feel sad like when I'm, in the old days when we make somebody do a parasite cleanse, what were we using? Not Nature Sunshine, the other one, the white and blue and yellow package.
By Brenda Watson.
Yeah, it was hers.
Yeah.
Tasted awful, and it actually made you hate cinnamon and lemongrass until you die. Like, so I'm super excited about this because I can attest to while I was in the Cayman Islands, I was eating a ton of fruit and I was moving my bowels even on vacation 2 and 3 times a day. So I think that's the missing piece for getting that hydration in. Like just keep on drinking your electrolytes and your water and just keep eating the fruit so that you can get your body to just poop all this business out.
Mhm.
So, the other part is so I'll tell you exactly what I'm taking and then I'll write it in the chat. I'm taking two capsules of turmeric. This is in the morning on an empty stomach. I'm taking, let's see. I'm taking 1 capsule of Zendocrine. And then I'm taking 2 Terrazyme.
The Sendercrine, is it the complex or the?
It's the detoxification soft gel. It's not the white bottle, it's the dark one. And then I got this off Amazon. You could do the tincture too. It's just that I'm kind of like traumatized from tinctures. It's a black walnut, wormwood, pumpkin seed, clove, and artichoke. And I can find you guys a link to this. But basically, you just want to get one that has the black walnut and the wormwood in it. Right, Tiff?
The cloves really help with the eggs, killing the eggs.
Well, we're gonna do clove oil.
Yeah.
So, but basically, you want to just get something like this.
How many?
I'm taking 1 of these a day. I'm gonna give you the whole thing in the chat and then I'll post it also in the group so you don't have to worry about you won't lose it. But like in my colonic, Tiffany used the tincture of the black walnut wormwood,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just important that you're gonna get that once a day. And then in an empty capsule, so you get these ones from doTERRA, the veggie caps. We're putting clove and fennel. Where'd my oils go? Oh, they're right here. Clove, fennel, oregano, and then you might add lemongrass. But right now in this rotation, I'm just doing clove and fennel, and then I just ordered oregano. So as soon as I finish my 10 days, I'm going to take 5 off, and then I'm going to do 10 again.
Good idea.
Yeah. But I'm taking all that at night too. And then I just did the diatomaceous earth in the morning, but I'm going to take a break on that. And then in my smoothies, I'm doing, because I'm still working out and I'm still trying to get enough protein, I'm doing doTERRA's protein and I'm adding the fiber. So like, because I was only going to the bathroom once a day and that just wasn't enough for what I was trying to do, you have to get that fiber in anyway, because that's the fish food, for your probiotic. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to mention. So in the old days, we would say just take a break on your probiotics while you're doing, like oregano and things like that, right? Because it's just going to kill it anyway. I don't say that now because we have the Pro Gut Biome Complex and it's got those phages or phages in it. It kind of looks like the Matrix. Remember those like spider electronic things that are like harvesting the people eggs? They look like that under a microscope, but when they release in the intestinal lining, they're going and they're cleaning up all the die-off. And that's the important part, that we want to get rid of that die-off business. So we want to take,
That makes you feel crummy.
yes.
Mhm.
So,
You
so
want-
I really like, if you want to find a cleanse to follow, go look up the 369 cleanse. And that's by Anthony William, the medical medium.
Mhm.
The way that he thinks about parasites, a lot of times he thinks that it's what was the word that I was saying to you, Tiffany, that I was like, what is that? And I couldn't remember. It's like with the thing that they tell you that if you don't have enough bacteria and then they end up giving you that poop transplant.
Mm.
Uh,
Shit.
Is it the bifidobacterium? Or is
No,
it a
no.
type? Oh, no. Oh,
Remember, Tiff? I was like, what is that? And you and I were talking about it.
the stool transplant?
The Atlanta transfer.
The thing
No, dang
about.
it. I can't think of the word right now. It's Epstein-Barr.
oh,
Oh,
okay.
He
not what I
thinks
was
that
thinking of.
he thinks that most symptoms that people experience are not actually parasites, that it's just Epstein-Barr, which is just like this a lot of virus in the body, which you would treat it the same way. And heavy metals, anything that's going to slow down your body's systems. It's kind of like if you look at like an old clock with the little sprockets and all the little things turning. If you poured sand into it, it's going to grit them up and make it go really slow. So anything that makes your little clockworks not go you gotta clean that crap out. So go look at his cleanse. He has some really great recipes, and I'm gonna post this all in the group too, so that you guys have it. And I'll put the product list of what's most important. So you need Zendocrine, you need the enzymes, you need empty veggie caps, you need fennel, clove, and oregano. What's the other things here? Oh, and you need turmeric. The turmeric is really important because it's kind of like a fire hose for like helping your system get moving. I was explaining this in a class I taught yesterday. So when you take the frankincense capsules, it's kind of like a warm hug to your organs, and your brain is like, hey girl, I'm here to help. I'm gonna support you. And then turmeric is like, everybody out. So we're trying to get your system to move. So that's the point, to get the inflammation and the mucus out.
You touched on the prebiotic though.
Yeah, so the pro gut biome, the doTERRA is new. We can't really call it a probiotic because it has pre, pro, post biotics in there. It just covers the entire health of your digestive tract. So I take that in the morning. Do you have anything you want to add, Dina?
I have like what I used in the past for parasite cleanse.
Okay, share that.
So I'm gonna share my screen. Maybe I can find the button. There we go. So can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the oils that Kim mentioned, these are the ones that would be ideal for parasite cleanse and support. And I just put them in empty capsules and then take them internally 3 to 5 times a day. And that's what's been a game changer for us. So clove, fennel, cinnamon, frankincense, ginger, myrrh, oregano, thyme, tea tree, and of course Zendocrine's a blend. The rest of them are all single oils. But this is what I thought was very interesting is because these are the characteristics of these essential oils. They're antibacterial, they're anti-inflammatory, they inhibit the egg development. So the life cycle of the parasite, it's got several different life cycles, right? And so one of them is it's able to kind of hide in your body. So if you have root canals, it's able to hide in the root canals. It's able to hide under, like if you've had some dental work where not a lot of oxygen is there in that place, or like a root canal is the only time we ever leave dead tissue in the body for it to just be like whatever, right? All other dead tissue has to come out. And so I thought this is very interesting because we also want to target when they insist. This is part of the life cycle is them hiding. That's called an insist. And so they're able to become undetectable by the human body when they hide like that. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it lessens fungal infections and other secondary infections. So we know when your immune system becomes compromised, what happens? You're prone to other infections, right?
Mm-hmm.
It decreases and disrupts the biofilm formation, though that's very important as well as in the life cycle. And then it reduces the larva and adult parasitic activity. So these are all super, super important. My cleanse prep, what I do is I start 3 days before the full moon. I do 1 drop of 3 or 5 of the oils in these categories. So pick 3. It doesn't really matter, 3 to 5. Any of them will work. And then do that 3 times a day. So you're getting your body prepped and ready, right? And then you're going to add an extra drop. So 4 or 5 of the oils, 1 drop of 4 or 5 of the oils above in any combination, 5 times a day. And you do this for 6 weeks straight. And then you'll add in the other things that Kim talked about, the turmeric, um, the PB Restore, super, super important. Go ahead,
Well,
Kim.
I like the idea of rotating. It's like because you want to keep it guessing.
You do, yeah. So you can change up these combinations too. Yeah,
And you do it
Already
3 to 5 times a day?
3 to 5 times a day. Yeah, they are hard to kill.
Right. Okay.
Just like if I was jumped on any of you guys and started choking you, you would fight for your life. And that's exactly what they're doing on the inside of your body. That's why there's die off and making that's what was making Kim's stomach sick was some die off and some things that she was started to do. And it's irritating. It's irritating to the you're going to be scratching my eyes out if I started choking you. And that's what we're technically doing down there inside our body. And it's not just one, it's thousands of them because they lay thousands of eggs every day. And so we need to get on top of it as soon as we start seeing some symptoms, or as soon as we know we're going on a trip, take a couple capsules. I love taking capsules of diatomaceous earth or having the zendocrine and having the turmeric on hand. And I love I don't have it right here, the little box of that we get at convention or leadership, that holds just a little bit of capsules, and it's very small, easy to put in. And so you can mark it on, I have some zendocrine, I have some turmeric, I have all of these things. If somebody in the group that is with me is starting to feel a little yuck, to keep it going.
Oh, what were you gonna say, Dina?
I think it's great to cleanse, but the first thing that you should do is stop feeding them. So stop eating sugar because the sugar is what keeps them going and is like fuel for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so be sure to change your diet too, so that you're not creating more of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Mm-hmm.
was the part that I found conflicting with Anthony William, because he's like eat a ton of fruit, but the old days they said no sugar, not even fruit. But I mean, how else is a person to get their system to dump like that is natural fruit. You know what I mean? So it's like getting it moving, but do you suggest, because I'm thinking like later in the cleanse, like
I say
so
start
like
without sugar, but that's just me. And there's so much conflicting information out there. You have to do the research and decide what's best for your body because we're all different. I I know that fruit sugar bypasses insulin, and then that creates a metabolic disorder in the body, right? And so now you've got parasites with metabolic disorder. So do you want 2 problems or 1 problem? Or, maybe you tackle that first, get that all under control, get your gut functioning. Because like I said before, you don't want to start shoving wood in the chimney but then you can't get it out, right? It doesn't go out, and smoke doesn't go up and out, right? Smoke's now coming in the house. We don't want that either. So very important to listen to your body, and figure out what's going to be best for you. I know some people do really good with fruit, and other people it feeds the critters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, so listen to yourself about that. I mean, maybe you're gonna go like the heavy salad route and the, vegetables and just be adding like a ton of herbs, chop tons of herbs to be killing these things. There's really, really good recipes now. Like these people on Instagram, they're like miracle workers. Like you watch them and you're like, that looks delicious. Like we just make yourself these big batches of so that you have food to be eating. For me personally, it feels like I need to get the fruit situation moving because like it's making me feel better. But you gotta get a read on that for yourself.
Years ago, I helped someone go into remission from cancer. She was given 2 weeks to live. I mean, she was, a kidney in the bag. Yeah, she was really bad. She had cancer all over her esophagus to where they wouldn't take her other breasts. Anyways, I had her do, Hulga Clark had a recipe and wormwood was in it.
Oh
And
yeah.
so it was cucumber juice and going on a fast of cucumber juice and then a watermelon with the seed and the rind and all of that. And in 2 weeks, I mean, people were calling me left and right, and I was just trying to help a friend. And I wasn't ready for all the attention that I received, and I was like, "No, leave me alone," So yeah, but wormwood was the really big one too. And
Mm-hmm.
she went to remission. She lived for 14 months until she said, "I'm going to go back to drinking Cokes and eating ice cream." And I said, "You do what you want. I was just trying to help you." So, um, she passed away after 14 months, but from 2 weeks to live, she was down to 80 pounds to live another 14 months. That was big.
Yeah.
That was
It
good.
always feels so good to help people when they're in that,
Mm.
it just to help them to support their bodies
Mhm.
when they really need it is such a blessing. And I feel like that's one of the biggest blessings to receive here on earth is to help somebody get out of that state and
Mhm.
to know that the doctors aren't always the right one. Like, who are you to say I have 2 weeks to live?
Mhm. Well, everything was shutting down when I saw her again, and so,
Mm,
she was with
mm,
hospice, and yeah, she was really in bad shape. But
wow.
but but yeah, I mean, we could heal with all these cleanses.
I have a
Man,
question.
yeah, go ahead.
So, we talked about how pretty much everyone has some parasites, even if we're not symptomatic or anything like that. So, for someone who, lives with pets and is not symptomatic, what would you say would be a good thing to add into, day to day? Is a cleanse necessary? Would that be, I mean, obviously it won't hurt anything, but or would you say, like we talked about garlic and onions and turmeric and all of those foods that help kind of keep things at bay? Um, so I guess what I'm saying is like, what would your recommendation be for people at different levels of
Yeah.
Well, I liked what
this?
Dina shared where you choose like 3 oils. Like do like where you start 3 days before the moon is gonna be full, right? You wanna share, Dina?
Oh no, go ahead. I would say do it quarterly. Like do a
Mm-hmm.
cleanse quarterly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I try to do a cleanse. I wouldn't say it's quarterly. It's more like I've gotten up to about every 6 months of doing like a 369 cleanse. Um, and I always learn something new about my body every time I do that cleanse. Um, and then just adding in all those nourishing foods. But then perhaps in between that, you know, doing like 6 weeks with the oil capsules or
Yeah.
okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But you want to do something for your pets too if you have pets. Years ago I heard if you put sprigs of fresh parsley in their water as they're drinking the water, it's a natural cleanse for the pets, and it doesn't hurt anybody, and it doesn't hurt if your kid walked by and ate it, or if the dog ate it or whatever, it's not going to hurt them. But if you're gonna do a serious cleanse, you need to like get everybody in the household on board. Just like Dina was saying, whoever you're sleeping next to, whatever, you're sharing the same couch blanket, you're sharing the same, there's slobber and there's things that, bodily fluids and slough off of our skin that could be carrying that to the rest of our family. So think about it like lice. You go through your whole house and you wash all your sheets and you wash everybody's head, and you have coconut oil on everybody's head for 3 days to get it all out. So that's another, thing to think about. It's good that you're doing it, but the other people in the household kind of need to be on board too. And if you've got littles, dilute the oil, put it on their feet. Do a spinal, but dilute, because a lot of those oils are hot.
Good thoughts. Yeah. Um, I can get my husband to take pretty much any capsule if I hand it to him, so that's helpful. Um, I just realized now sharing with you guys that I walk dogs pretty regularly throughout the week, and I'm probably exposed to a lot more than I was prior, just, having an indoor cat. Um, so I think, yeah, that kind of makes me want to up my game a bit because I don't know what other people are doing with their homes and such as well either. So
You want to
Not wearing your shoes that you walk the dogs with in your house.
yeah, I take them
Or
off.
those are I mean, like we don't think about that, but you walk through a property that has parvo, you could bring parvo into your own home,
Mhm.
into your own property. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I've gotten into a routine of taking off my shoes and then spraying the bottoms of them with alcohol and essential oils and then
oh,
spraying the
good,
floor with that too. So
good.
probably gonna just keep that up, especially with like bird flu going around and that being really bad for cats too. So if I'm like outside walking a lot and I accidentally step on bird poop or something, don't want
Yeah.
that in my house either. So
Are you just putting On Guard?
um, so I make this like glass cleaner with On Guard, lemon, um, rubbing alcohol and vinegar and just use that.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good thing. Everybody wears shoes in my house.
But Kimmy, you don't have carpet.
Yeah,
So
the
that
baby.
makes a big difference. At least you can mop often and steam the carpet is where a lot of things get trapped in.
Okay. All right. That's a good thought though. I'm glad that you mentioned about everybody and the animals and spraying the shoes and that's like really good
Making sure
stuff.
you clean up any waste in the yard or in the cat box almost immediately, because that's where they want to live, and then they'll hide in the grass. Even if you pick it up, they'll hide in the dirt or the grass or whatever, and then that's how come you could walk through it and carry it back into your house. So doing that is pretty important.
Another good thing that I've been thinking about doing, and I'm gonna start, remember in the old days we would boil cilantro and then make a tea and drink it all week long?
Mhm.
I want to do that.
Have you tried the cilantro essential oil like under your tongue or in water?
I've done it in a jug of water that is specifically for cilantro now because that jug will never not taste like cilantro. It's only for cilantro, that jug.
Yeah. Yeah, because it does. It holds that taste. But oh my gosh, like if you drink that and get like a little bit of a headache, you know you got heavy metals. It's a good indicator because cilantro is a heavy metal chelator,
Hmm.
but it's like the best at doing it essential oil wise. So yeah, one drop in a big glass of water usually is like a headache like that.
Wow. I put one drop with pico de gallo, with tomatoes, onion, so good. And cilantro, fresh.
Yummy.
In a smoothie, cilantro and pineapple is phenomenal.
Oh, wow.
And pineapple's amazing digestion. So, just FYI.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to try that.
So, Alicia and I and my cousin have a new Facebook group called Nourished and Aligned. Wait, or is it Aligned and
Aligned
Nourished?
and nourished.
Aligned and Nourished. I'm wondering if we should put our recipes in there and
I
I'll
think
just add everybody to it.
it would be really awesome to have like a cleanse recipe kind of booklet sort of thing.
Okay. But I
Or
like
like
when,
juices, and we even La Cheret's there. She could help us with some of that too.
yeah, I mean, because if we rotate what oils we're using so that we can make sure that we're killing every kind of parasite and then we can just keep it up to date in there.
Hmm.
So,
Would you say that it's helpful I mean, we kind of talked about taking breaks between things, but would you say that that's absolutely necessary? Like,
yeah, because you need to let it like hatch so that you can kill that one.
so
Right.
for example, if you're doing cilantro oil every day, that wouldn't be as effective as doing it like every 6
Mm,
weeks or something? Like,
no,
would there be an issue having cilantro oil every day?
I don't see why not. I think that you would naturally get sick of it, and that would be your indicator
Yeah.
of like to take a break, you know?
Mhm.
You got to listen to your body.
Yeah, you get
There's
muscle
so
pull.
many different people who can, like Kimmy, can handle the fruit. If my husband did fruit like that, he would, because he has an underlying fungal and candida issue, that he would be rashed all over his body if he pulled the fruit card. So that you've got to listen to your body, and your body will tell you, I've had enough of that. I'm done. Just like when you put the pinch of salt under your tongue, if your body needs it's almost refreshing to eat that salt, which seems really weird just to eat salt. I mean, and I'm talking about salt with high mineral content, a real salt, a Celtic sea salt, a Himalayan salt. Um, but then after a while, if your body is already full of it, it doesn't taste as satisfying anymore. So pay attention to what your body's saying to you. And the people on this call right now, I think all have that in their ideas and thought pattern.
Okay.
I want to open it up to questions, you guys. So for throughout the other peeps down here, if you have like something specific you want or clarity on what we've been talking about.
Yeah, Tina had a good question. If you're taking cilantro and get a headache, do you push through it to get rid of the heavy metals? Yes. And adding a citrus helps to bind to the toxins and neutralize them so they don't redeposit somewhere else. One of the best oils that does that is grapefruit. So grapefruit and cilantro together aren't the best flavor, but you could do cilantro and lime, you could do cilantro and lemon. Um, just grapefruit does it the best. But you can definitely use any of the other citruses.
I'm wondering if that's in, well, there's cilantro and
In the Zendocrine.
tangerine in Zendocrine.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, but you could add grapefruit to your capsule.
And cilantro for heavy metals is completely different than Parasite Flush,
Yeah.
just to be clear. Like I wouldn't use cilantro for getting rid of parasites. That wouldn't be my first oil. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, yeah, but I mean it's still like things that are clogging up the system,
correct. Yeah.
you know? Like I'd
Mhm.
rather kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, but heavy metals are a rough detox too because
Yeah.
they're so neurologically heavy. So I personally would not have somebody doing them both at the same time. I just wouldn't. I would do them separately. Does that help?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you too,
Yeah.
Tiffany?
Mm-hmm. Don't do those two at the same time.
So neurologically heavy. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just wondering how you would actually avoid not detoxing heavy metals if you're doing some things that are
You just don't want them
Mm.
all moving out of the tissues into the bloodstream at the same time that you're doing the parasite cleanse. Number one, you may feed the parasites. You know, your toxins are going to feed parasites too. So you don't want to feed them and make them like, here, let me give you a bed and a blanket and just set up shop. And if you like something to eat, you can ring the bell and I'll bring you dinner. You don't want them getting cozy. So yeah, I definitely want to do those separate. And
okay.
it's just hard on the body. It's a huge stress. And detoxification is a huge stress already. So doing them both at the same time is just really heavy.
So, okay, that was something that before we close, I wanted to make sure people knew about is your support oils. Like if you're having symptoms and you're going through a cleanse, it's not always comfortable. You need to have your digestion handy. You need your deep blue around. You need your past tense oil. Past tense is the one, the bigger with the safety cap that has the wintergreen in it. I mean, that's just so supportive to a headache or
Mhm.
a muscle tension that you're experiencing. If you're feeling it in your jaw, you can use that past tense and deep blue. Um, Having lemon around to smell the lemon oil for nausea, ginger. I can't use a whole lot of peppermint because I'm breastfeeding, so I couldn't necessarily grab the digestion. I ended up just taking it anyway, and I was like, I'm sorry, Ben.
Does spearmint do the same as peppermint?
Well, the Supermint has spearmint in it too. But what I ended up just doing was fennel and ginger and rubbing that on my stomach. And I was just smelling it, and that was helping. So if you can't have a certain oil, then you can use the single ones,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
But I ended up just like going whole hog and taking digestin capsules and rubbing it everywhere anyway.
I just wasn't like I knew peppermint can reduce the breast milk, but I didn't know if spearmint did too.
I don't know if spearmint does too, but peppermint definitely does because I've
Yeah.
used it to stop in the past.
Mm,
Um, but
mhm.
I'm fine now. I'm like, I think the fruit's helping. So I don't feel sick like I did. So I'm happy about that.
Another
There's another question that came up.
Okay, let's
I get
Tina.
headaches every day, so I always thought it might be the metals, but here's my other issue. I think I pulled a parasite out of my eyeball a couple of months ago, so should I go parasite cleanse first or metal?
Parasite.
Ooh, minerals, high mineral I would be doing the electrolytes, the doTERRA electrolytes, all the time because a lot of times headaches are because we're low in minerals. So I would do like Kimmy's concoction and getting that moving in the right direction to help with the headache. I do take one
Yeah, she takes one daily, but you need to get more.
more because we're so we burn through the magnesium and the potassium and the sodium in our body just for the connections. It's like that electrical current and it's using that. And then we need more to keep that conversation in our body happening.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, you're on mute. Were you trying to talk, Tina? There
Sorry,
you go.
I guess I should just talk. I'm just typing away, but the more and more you guys say things, the more and more comes up. So a couple months ago, when I think that I pulled something out of my eyeball, I did do one of other groups cleanses and Parasite, and not to be too graphic, but I usually go daily, once or twice. And I've always been able to do that, and it has messed me up as far as going regular. I'm just in this last week starting to feel like I'm getting back to my regular, but I mean, I could guarantee first thing in the morning, I could guarantee at 10:30 in the morning. And so I'm slowly getting back there. So I'm kind of scared to do more things because I'm like, okay, what messed it up? Because I was following exactly like the Zendocrines. I was taking all those, and it was kind of a combination of one that Dr. Watts had kind of introduced to people, along with just the regular doTERRA cleanse. So that's why I'm kind of like, okay, I know I'm getting headaches a lot. Could that be metals? And so that's why I was like, when I saw your class, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna jump on this one and see what else I can find out.
Do you have a colon hydrotherapist anywhere near you?
I used to go to one years ago. I'm in a small town now, and I'm actually really reconsidering going back to her because she's only 4 hours away. Because I'm like, I used to be so good about all this stuff.
Yeah, a colon hydrotherapist, but if you go to i-act.org,
Can you put it in the chat, Tiff?
Yeah, please.
yeah, let me see. The ct.org.
Yes, I used to call mine my therapist because I swear we'd cry every time. Getting all that stuff up.
Dina flies in to come see me. We just trained somebody in her to go to her area, and I just sold her a bunch of equipment, tried to get her all going so Dina can get a session whenever she wants. So I'm trying, we're really working on
Where
getting
are you guys? Maybe you're driving distance.
where are you located, Tina?
I'm in Lake Havasu, Arizona. I'm about
Okay.
4 hours from San Diego, 2.5 hours from Las Vegas.
Okay.
Not very far
Okay.
from Tiffany.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
in the high desert. So I'm in Victorville.
Oh,
Closer
I
than
know exactly where Victorville is. I used to live in
Yeah.
Julian.
Yeah. So but in San Diego there's some amazing people.
Mhm.
I
There's
used to go to the Happy Colon in Poway.
okay.
The happy colon. How cute is that?
I was president of the association for colon hydrotherapy. So I'm past president. I've been on the board of directors for the last 12 years.
Tina,
I just might have to get to Victorville, Tiffany.
Like I said, Dina flies in for me.
Yeah.
do you sweat?
I used to sweat really bad, but since I've been doing like my vitamins and stuff like that, I don't feel like I'm sweating. Like I used to have to wear deodorant on a regular basis, and I'm not wearing. And I've been like looking into lymph node stuff, so I've been kind of doing like the lymph node, and I actually have a lymph node massage scheduled for a week. Oh, in a week from a lady I met at one of my booths that I do.
Perfect. Yeah, Tiffany does an amazing lymphatic drainage too.
Okay.
So
Okay,
yeah,
that's
and
good
then
to
like
know.
maybe even looking at like sauna.
Okay.
Take it
Well, I
in.
do have a home sauna that goes up to my back, so I was gonna start using that again.
Yeah, that would be good to start because you want to be able to sweat
Hmm.
and get some of these toxins out, and then that'll kind of help move the metals too.
Okay, that's
Get
good
it
to know.
released. So if you do um the cilantro, then get in the sauna, that's a good combination for you.
Okay, I'll try that. And then Tiffany, if you can send me your information, because I'm not joking, I want to get back into doing it. And you're actually closer than going to Poway.
Yeah, I just put my office name and office number in the chat. So because somebody else posted something in there, and if you have any questions or anything, we can have a conversation, and then I can go online, dig up somebody that's maybe closer to you, or try to get you hooked up with somebody, because then if I call them and they go, every colon hydrotherapist knows who I am. So I'm like, oh no, I have a good friend and you better take good care of her. they're gonna do above and beyond for you. So just make sure that you're well taken care of.
Okay, perfect.
And you get a good person like that's registered because you don't want like witch doctor person with a bucket and a hose.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
So one of my clients went to Oregon. Sorry, I'm getting kind of, and they converted a shower so the heat knob was just a regular shower. The
No.
top of the shower was going into a bucket, and you could see the line of where the mold was because they didn't sanitize the bucket. Now, this is a gal that just stopped seeing me because she thinks there's mold in my clinic when she was going to this clinic in Oregon. And it was her way of like breaking up with me, I guess, which is fine. Now, you could stop coming to me. You don't need me all the time. But it was I'm like, I have FDA registered equipment. My filters get changed all the time. I sanitize the floors. Everything gets wiped down with On Guard. Everything gets sprayed down. I ran mold tests. I'm running air filters and diffusers. There's no mold in my clinic. But it was her, she could go to that for the months she's in Oregon in the summer months, but she thinks she's getting sick in my office, which is ridiculous. If you've seen my office, you know, like you could eat off the floor.
It's beautiful in there. Well, I'm just so grateful that we're able to get together and like talk about like these different ways and options for people to kind of like start to gather what's going to work best for them. And then I think I can put all this information in one spot. So if you want to be added to that Facebook group here, Tina, we're on Facebook together, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make sure that I add everybody to that group. Because then we can put like the rotating cleanse in there and then some, some eating options. So like, get on the fruit ban with me or different options you can play with. So, but I
Awesome.
just love and appreciate you guys for coming together like this. We want to get more classes together again. It's just great to be able to share this information that's in our head.
That's
So.
great. So, love you guys.
Thank you. Tina.
All
Appreciate
right.
everything, guys. Thank you.
Thanks
It's
for
good to
staying
talk
awake,
to you.
Maria.
Bye. Bye, Tiffany.
Bye,
Bye,
Maria. It was
everyone.
good to see your face.
Yeah, good to see you. Bye.
All right.
Bye,
Bye.
Alicia.
I can. Bye. Thank you.
Bye, John Boy.